Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. My name is Matthias, and today we will tell you some more about how you can prepare for your journey to Gothenburg for your upcoming studies in the autumn semester. So there are a couple of months left until the autumn semester commences later this year. But we want to provide you with some useful information beforehand to help you prepare for what's coming and to possibly also ease some of the stress and uncertainty that comes, of course, with moving to another country for your studies. So this webinar will consist of a presentation based on information about the university and living in Gothenburg, along with our student ambassadors' experiences and perspectives as international students at GU. And we also have my colleague Niels from International Center join us today, who will give you a brief overview of what to expect when you come here in August in terms of welcome activities. Then we'll end today's webinar with a Q&A session during which you can ask your questions. All questions will be taken in written form through the Q&A, so you don't need to digitally raise your hand or ask for permission to speak. And you can submit questions basically anytime you like, and we'll try our best to answer them later in the Q&A. So since it's already been more than a month since you've received your admission results, you are probably already thinking quite a lot about how to prepare for your studies at GU. And we've also previously held a couple of webinars and digital events to help you out and to guide you through this process, such as our webinar about the next steps to take after your admission, as well as our webinar about finding housing in Gothenburg. We can find recordings of these webinars on our website, on YouTube and on GU Play, in case you wish to look up some of the information that we shared during these sessions. So let's take a quick look at the topics that we will be talking about today. First, we will actually just talk a little bit more about the city of Gothenburg and the university, and also highlight some options of traveling here. We'll talk about settling in as a new international student, study culture in our classrooms, student unions and associations, and apart from studying, what else there is to do in Gothenburg. And you'll also get some budget tips, and you'll hear more about ways to learn Swedish. And then we'll also give you a preview of what's planned for the welcome program that will take place just before the start of the semester. And then, of course, at the end, we'll have our Q&A during which you can ask your questions. All right, let's do a quick introduction round of our student ambassadors that are here with us today. We'll go in order as you see it here on the slide. And perhaps, we start with Will.
Hey everyone, welcome to this webinar. I am a first year in my master's in global studies. Well, finishing up, second year soon. And I'm from Boston in the US, and we're really excited to have you here and welcome you to the university.
Hey everyone, my name is Shay and I'm from South Africa, second year Master's Public Health, busy writing my thesis. And yeah, it's super exciting to be here because it feels like a month ago I was sitting here listening to these webinars. So looking forward to it.
Hey, my name is Haimanot and I'm second year student of Embedded Design, Masters, and I'm from Italy and I'm very excited to be here.
Hello everyone, my name is Bernadette and I am doing my Master in Marketing and Consumption and I'm on second year and I'm from Indonesia. So glad that you are able to make it to the session.
Yes, and then he's not on the slide, but we also have Niels with us from International Center. Do you want to say hi as well?
Yes, hello, Niels from International Center. I'm obviously not a student ambassador. I worked for the university since 2015, but I was an exchange student in Japan, so there is that. Maybe that counts. Anyway, I'm very happy to be here, and I will be back to talk about the welcome program later.
All right. Thanks everyone for saying hi. So many of you attending now have probably already done some research about the city that you might call your new home very soon. But let's just go through some general facts anyways and some info to help you understand what's waiting for you here. So Gothenburg is the second largest city in Sweden and the largest non-capital in the Nordic countries. It's located on Sweden's west coast and has a population of around 570,000 inhabitants and around 1 million in the greater Gothenburg area. So basically the city is well known for its friendly locals and laid-back atmosphere, which makes it relatively easy to navigate for you as newcomers. And as it attracts students, academics, companies and talent from all over the world, Gothenburg also has quite an international feel to it. And while Gothenburg is one of the biggest cities in Scandinavia, it's also very close to nature, as you can see in this image. There are green areas in central parts of the city. It's closely located to the coast and the archipelago, which you actually can even see in the background there as well as forests, lakes in the surrounding area. So for those of you who may not be as familiar with the geography of Sweden, Scandinavia, or the city of Gothenburg, you can also see where we are located, right in the heart of Northern Europe, close to many European hubs like London, Paris, Copenhagen, Oslo, Berlin, or Stockholm, the capital of Sweden. Gothenburg is a vibrant, welcoming city on Sweden's west coast, where you find a unique combination of urban city life paired with easy access to stunning nature. And in Gothenburg, essentially, the city actually is your campus. The university is a university in the city, and you will see that when you come here, that our different campus locations are basically spread out all throughout the city center. So the university does not have one singular campus somewhere in the outskirts of the city. So you are actually always close to the vibrant and active city life. And I think it's truly enriching to your experience here as a student. But more about that now. You'll hear from our student ambassadors themselves. And I'm handing over to Will, who will talk a bit about arriving to Gothenburg, traveling here and settling in.
Thank you, Matthias. Maybe some of you have already made your travel plans, but if not, there you have quite a handful of options, actually. So first of all, our airport in Gothenburg, you have plenty of flights from plenty of major European cities or some of the random Ryanair ones that come from smaller cities occasionally. However, it's not a major airport, and there are no flights from outside of Asia. Outside of Europe. So if you're coming from Asia or North America or whatever, you're going to have to change somewhere else. And if you're coming from Europe with flight prices as they are these days, you might want to look at some other options if it's available to you. So for instance, you can take the train, and it could be a pretty long journey depending on where you're coming from. But for me, I find it more comfortable than taking a flight sometimes. So even if it's a longer journey, if you're coming from somewhere else in Northern Europe or anywhere, you can take that, and if you use an app, for instance, the Deutsche Bahn app, you can find a route that plots your whole course getting to Gothenburg, and it can usually get a pretty good rate for even if it ends up being a long journey. And for instance, I've gone from Gothenburg to the Netherlands in a day, and the train ticket price, it took like most of the day, but it ended up being much less than what a flight would cost in terms of price. We also have a popular ferry option, which you can take from Kiel in Germany. So if you're coming from Germany or even a neighboring country like the Netherlands, you can always go by train during the day and then get to the Kiel ferry and then take that overnight, and then you'll arrive in Gothenburg in the morning. So different options to consider in terms of that. Can I get the next slide, please? Thank you. And if you are coming from further away, don't always only just look at Gothenburg flights, because if you see my sort of Google Flights screenshots here. When I come back to Gothenburg, as I'm away doing my internship right now, I'm flying back into Oslo from my home city in Boston, because as you can see, it costs a lot less on that screenshot than flying straight to Gothenburg. Or I just pulled up another example. It's like $400 less if you fly to Copenhagen instead of Gothenburg. So Gothenburg, like I said, is not itself a major airport, but you can find good flights to the neighboring three cities, and then from once you're there, then you can just go take a train or a bus, and which will just take you a couple hours from each of those cities. So definitely have a look at different options if you haven't booked your flights yet, and hopefully you can find a good price. Next slide, please. And then once you get there, you might feel overwhelmed and surprised, but don't worry. You can be ready to be surprised. Before I arrived to Sweden, I had been to Germany before, so I was just kind of thinking, oh, it's probably just like Germany, just like a little colder. But then when you get there, you might start to feel like more differences, and especially the longer you stay there, more and more differences kind of become more apparent. But like Matthias talked about, it's very relaxed, and it's very international, but also not too small, not too big either. So not too big or not too small. So you can feel very relaxed and kind of go at your own pace with that. Once you have your first accommodation, you can get to know that area, figure out the supermarkets, which I know all the budget stuff and shopping is discussed, later today or in other webinars. But you can figure that out, and then also what sort of transit routes you have available to you. It'll be discussed later, but you have the trams, but also the bus network is very good. So you can rely on that stuff too. And while you're here at first, you're gonna be like, oh my God, this place is amazing. The days are so long. It's nice and warm, and it won't always be like that, but you can definitely enjoy that through August and through September too, honestly. So take advantage of that and really get to explore, get to know the place, and take and make the most of it. But also you can take your time. We'll have lots of student events starting off where you can meet people, but don't feel stressed out about anything. You can take your own take your own pace to get to know everything and get to know other people, and you can don't feel stressed about all of the bureaucracy and everything. It exists, but it'll sort itself out. So just relax and take your time is my main advice. And believe I'll be passing the torch to Shay, I believe now.
No, it's to me.
Well, sorry. Go ahead.
No
Take it away.
problem. Thanks so much. And I will just continue on something that Will actually mentioned before about the culture shock that you might have when coming to Sweden and to Gothenburg in general. So I think one of the biggest culture shock for me, not in a bad way, but it's still a shock, is the study culture or the Swedish study culture. Because here in Gothenburg or in my master's, it's a bit different in how I used to do my bachelor, where in one semester I will do 4 to 5 courses simultaneously. But in Sweden, in your master's, you will have some sort of like study periods, which only have 1 to 2 courses per 7 to 9 weeks. So in that sense, you are more focused in doing your courses and doing your group projects and stuff like that, because you only have some sort of like 1 or 2 big topics when you're talking about or when you're doing your studies. And I think another something that I really enjoy studying in Sweden is you will have some sort of like break. I hope you're starting to understand the concept of having a fika, because it is a very Swedish thing, and I don't know how I can translate that into like English. Essentially, it's like a coffee break or just a break in general, where you have most of the time having coffee, but that 15 minutes break actually make you or at least for myself personally, it makes you a little bit more how does it called, you have like you are recharged on those breaks. So for example, you have a class for almost 2 hours, and you have a 15-minute breaks, and you can get recharged going to the bathroom and have a fika and just discuss with your friends, your classmates, and even the teachers themselves. And then I think one of the most amazing thing I would say was studying in Sweden and studying your master in Sweden and Gothenburg in general is the variety of the lectures. So we have something called the lectures. Of course, it's when the teacher, giving a lecture in general, but we also have seminars and labs and exams. So in seminars, and I think the other student ambassadors will agree on me about this, is like when you're studying your master's in Gothenburg, you have a lot of like group works and group projects, and this seminar is some sort of the place where you do a lot of group discussions with your own group, with other group, with your peers, as well as you can, discuss this as well, or like case studies as well with your teachers. So that's a bit exciting. And I think this is due to in Sweden and in Gothenburg, of course, we have a flat hierarchy. So there is no some sort of like levels between the teachers, between the students. So it's a really, really relaxed environment, and you are actually encouraged to speak out about your opinions, on your knowledge, on your skills. And I think I really appreciated this kind of like studying example in Gothenburg University. Moving over to the next slide, I think like a part of studying, of course, as a student, I think it's important to, be familiar and maybe join some student unions and associations. I think there are four student unions in Gothenburg University. For me, because I am a marketing master. I joined my faculty's union, which is the School of Business. So I'm a part of that, and it is a fun platform, I would say, to join different events and activities, both from social networking, but also a more professional networking setting. So I get a lot of like information about job opportunities, about like career information, or even like thesis information, something like that. So it is a really another great way to meet people and, be familiar, especially not coming from Sweden, just be familiar with the culture here. And I think student unions also give like benefits and rewards to the students, you can actually get like discounts on a lot of stuff like restaurants, or maybe if you want to go for a little shopping, perhaps. So they really give good benefit. And I think one of the, if I'm not mistaken, one of the benefits is also queuing points, but there are terms and conditions that you should read more in the webpage. And I think, like personally, I like to join these kind of activities, because especially in the winter, you might hear about the darkness, like it's very cold, it gets dark very fast. And I think this is how you kind of like force yourself getting out there and just connect and build networks and friendships. I think that's all from me right now. So moving to the next person.
Yes, thank you. So once you get to Gothenburg, there's actually a lot of activities that you can do, and as Bernadette said, a lot of them are connected to university, but also a lot of them are just organized from the city or different organizations. At the beginning of the year, so towards the end of August, there is a culture festival here in Gothenburg, and it's 3 days. There is like music events happening around the city, and also food trucks. But also throughout the year, there's a lot of different occasions. And also, for example, in the first Saturday of June, there's going to be a festival in an area called Andra Långgatan. So there's always things happening, and you can just Google Gothenburg events, and you'll always see a lot of things popping up. And if you also like sports, there is marathons that are happening here in Gothenburg, but also clubs that you can join both at the university and out. And as we mentioned before, the university always organizes events. Some are from us and some are from the student union. So I really encourage you to look for them and always try to keep up, because when I first moved to Gothenburg, I didn't know that there was so many things happening. So in my second year, I kind of adjusted to that, and it made my student life much more full. And then moving on to the next slide. Yes. When it comes to public transport, I think it's very efficient and very easy to navigate. The main app that we use is called Västtrafik, and you can use it both for the buses, for the trams, but also for the boats, which is really nice, because then if you plan to go to the islands, a lot of times there is you don't need to buy a second ticket. And then there's also some boats that where you need to buy a second ticket. But with the Västtrafik one, you can go pretty much everywhere around the city. And if you buy the monthly ticket, you can get a discount as a student. And also there's a lot of bikes from the city that you can rent, and you can pay 1 year subscription, which is pretty cheap. It's like less than 300 crowns, and you can use them for the whole year. So that's a very amazing thing, and I know a lot of students that use it. And then when it comes to trains, as we said, like Gothenburg's location is pretty convenient. So I mainly use SJ, and even that, every time you travel, you can collect points, and sometimes you can use them as discounts for your next ride. So my last train ride that I didn't pay anything because I used the points of my previous travels. So there's a lot of ways to save money also when you travel here in Sweden and Gothenburg. And then talking about money, like if we move to the next slide, there's a lot of ways to live on a budget. We are all students, so we understand that sometimes it can be hard, but it can be managed. There's a lot of secondhand shops, so you can find a lot of very good quality clothing for very cheap. And since I moved here, it has become one of my biggest passions, because you can find a lot of things also when it comes to furnishing your apartment. You don't have to buy everything brand new. And that's where I used, for example, secondhand shops, but also Blocket and Facebook Marketplace. And also there's a lot of students moving out every year, so you can also find through that furniture that previous students use, that you can buy for very cheap. And as I mentioned, there is a lot of free events in Gothenburg, and festivals and activities. So what I really like about living here is that you don't have to compromise too much. There's always something to do, and you don't have to spend too much money, or even money sometimes, to enjoy your life here. And also museums are free. Most of them are free for students. So I really recommend you to make the most out of it and just use your student discounts as much as possible. And also my last suggestion is to always ask for student discounts, because you never know if they have them or not. And sometimes maybe they don't display them that well, because they assume that people know. So I really started to always ask, is there a student discount? And you get very surprised of how many discounts are out there. So I think there's a lot of amazing things that you can do here as a student on a budget. And I really suggest you to go and explore these opportunities.
Hey everybody. So now we're going to speak a little bit about the Swedish lessons that are offered by the university. So to get us started, there is an opportunity to learn Swedish for free that's offered by Gothenburg University. And these courses run from A1 level. A1 is basically just your very, very, very beginner. And then B2, you're kind of getting to that level where you're actually having conversations with people. And I think to get from A1 to B2, it's about 5 courses, and each course runs for 10 weeks. You have 2 opportunities in one semester to get into one course. So the first opportunity to sign up is on this date that you see here in bold, May 19th at 10 a.m. is the first registration for the study period in August. Because your studies in Gothenburg are usually split into 2 study periods. So one semester is split into 2. With usually just a weekend that divides them. But actually, there's something important to know about this. This little cat that's screaming off the top of their lungs is there because I'm here to tell you that these courses are very popular. And signing up for them is a little bit like buying concert tickets to your favorite artist, in the sense that you need to be there on the link at like 9:55, waiting, refreshing, waiting until 10 o'clock starts, and then signing up instantly. For example, me, I was one of those people that sat there very early getting ready to sign in, and I signed in at something like 40 seconds after 10 and got in, and friends that were sitting in the same room as me signed up at 10:01, 10:02, 10:03, and didn't get into the course. So I'm going to give you a link. Oh, there we go. Matthias beat me to it. I was about to do it, but there's the link to sign up for these courses. All this information that you see on the slide here is what you can also get on that link. And the link that you use to sign up is also there on that page. So if you take anything away from today, is May 19th, 10 a.m., get ready to sign up for the courses. But I will clarify that it is not absolutely necessary to study Swedish. If you are here and you know that you're going to be here for probably just the course of your studies, then it could be a fun experience and a way to include yourself in the culture, to learn the language. I took it with some friends, and I found it very fun and became friends, even better friends with them through the course. But something that I wish I knew, or something that I took a bit more seriously in the beginning, because everybody says you'll do fine, you'll do fine. Everyone speaks English. It's almost not even necessary to learn Swedish. I actually think that if you are remotely thinking about staying in Sweden after your studies, then you should seriously look into studying Swedish. It's something that I'm struggling with now, coming close to the end of my studies. And I wish I took it a bit more seriously and was a bit more fluent now that I'm looking for jobs, because I'm someone who's choosing to stay in Sweden. So really choose your goal, whether you want to just immerse yourself in the culture or whether you want to take Swedish seriously because you know you want to stay in Sweden afterwards. We can go to the next slide. That being said, other than the free courses offered by Gothenburg University, there are other ways you can learn Swedish. For example, on this page, I've given you 3 QR codes to some Instagram accounts that are pretty good at teaching you Swedish in bite-sized lessons. And I was a bit selective in these accounts, in the sense that I think that they're actually really good at teaching Swedish. Another interesting option is through Sweden's radio station, and I'm going to copy that link as well. So Swedish radio station has lessons called Svenska för alla, which translates to Swedish for everyone. And they are like free podcast-like lessons of Swedish. So that's an interesting and self-paced learning opportunity. Another opportunity is through Folkuniversitetet, which is a university that's a bit more, actually I don't know how to describe Folkuniversitetet, but they have free Swedish online courses as well. I'm copying the link in the chat now as well, so also lots of links to take home with you today. And these are courses that you can sign up for as well. Then something that you shouldn't sleep on is reading children's books, because they often have quite simple language, often in the present tense or simple past tense, and are a fun way to kind of get started. So I've just put like some common ones here that I've read. And then a really great opportunity when you are feeling a bit more confident and want to start speaking Swedish. Let's say you're a year down the line and you've taken Swedish A1, A2, you're moving to B1. Then going to this link, I'll get it for you now, takes you to the library. Sorry. Takes you to the Gothenburg City Library website, and you can see there all the different språk cafes, language cafes that they offer, where you can just show up and start speaking with people that are very much like you, in the same boat as you. Now, you would notice that on this slide, I have not put Duolingo as an option, and I think that says something. Duolingo, I would say, is more of a game than actually teaching you any language. It would be quite funny to learn how to say that the bear ate your scarf, but in terms of actually learning Swedish the way that you need to or want to, I would say other avenues that have been highlighted here are really going to be your top. It's really what's going to help you. I did Duolingo for a year and a half or so, but taking courses, speaking to other Swedish people, reading children's books, practicing reading and writing, that's really what did it for me more than anything. And my last point for you today, and this is more of a future thinking, but some people come here and they actually do think about staying in Sweden afterwards. There is a Swedish course that is 100% pace that runs for 2 semesters, but you have to complete the first semester in order to get into the second semester. And this is Swedish as a language that's supposed to qualify you for the working world of Gothenburg in Sweden. So I've put the link here, and I've said it's for after your studies because, like I said, it's 100% pace for a year if you choose to take both courses. But when you come out of the second year of this course, you're supposed to be at C1, which qualifies you for the professional world. So you can take that certificate and go to your nursing job or any other job that requires Swedish and say, this is my certificate that proves my language capabilities. And that's something that I'm seriously considering. I will say that you have to be at B1 level in order to get into the course, and there's a placement exam to get into the course. And I wanted to say this to you guys here because me 2 years ago was like, yeah, I'll learn Swedish, it'll come, no worries. But really, I wish I took it a bit more seriously sooner, since I'm someone who's choosing to stay in Sweden. And now I'm stuck having to write my thesis and study Swedish to pass that qualifying exam to get into the course, and choosing, maybe it's not completely decided, but choosing to take another year of studies to get that proficiency in Swedish in order to work and stay in Sweden. Yeah, I think that's everything from me. Hopefully it doesn't scare you off. Really, it's up to you what you want to do, and you can take it at any pace that you want. If you want to just engage yourself or actually take it more seriously. Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing your experiences, perspectives, your knowledge, and also some resources and advice, especially now, as you said, Shay, when it comes to maybe thinking about learning Swedish already now, since, if you actually think, okay, yeah, I do maybe want to stay in Sweden even after my studies, it's always good to have in mind, yeah, maybe learn some Swedish. It is possible to work in English in Sweden, but of course, if you want to be, more, if you want to widen your range of things that you can work with or apply for, learning Swedish is always something that will be great and of advantage for you. So, to give you also a little preview of what else you can expect closer to the start of the semester, as I mentioned before, we have Niels here with us, who can tell you more about the university's welcome program in August.
Thank you, Matthias. I'm just going to put my headphones down there. Now I can't hear you, so if Matthias, you want me something, please write me in the chat. Yes, I'm going to talk about the welcome program, which is, it starts on the 18th of August, and probably some of you may be here by then and some of you may not be. That's not a problem. The welcome day, which is the first event of the welcome program, is an online event. As it says here on the slide, you can choose if you want to attend 10 a.m. in the morning until 12, or 1700 hours until 1900 hours in the evening, and this is Central European Standard Time. And we choose to do it this way so that we can accommodate as many different time zones as possible. I will also say that this during this event we will have a welcome speech from the Deputy Vice Chancellor. You will hear from the University Library, from Service Centre about e-services and the GU card, which is the access card for the university. You will hear presentations from the student unions. Carl will be there to talk about the Swedish courses, but you already know some about that now, thanks to Shay. And we also have interspersed between these presentations, we're going to be at different places in the city to talk about the history of the city, to talk about recycling at a recycling station, and so on. So you get some idea about life in Gothenburg as well. And all our presenters will be there to answer questions as well, so you'll be able to submit, pretty much like you do here, you can submit questions, but on the welcome day we will answer those questions in writing as well. Then on the 25th of August we have an event called Swedish Study Culture and Living in Sweden, which will be on site in the university's main building, so it'll be an opportunity to see also the auditorium there, which is beautiful auditorium, and the main building is not really used for teaching anymore. It's more of an administrative building and also used for ceremonies, so it is one of the rare opportunities to go inside and see that building from the inside. It was built in the early 1900s, so it's not quite as old as the university itself, but still it has a lot of history to it. The Swedish study culture, Bernadette already talked a little bit about that today. We are of course going to go more in depth, and Heimanot talked about living on a student budget. That is also something we're going to go more in depth with. In fact, our student unions don't know it, student ambassadors don't know it yet, but we're going to ask one of them to give a longer presentation on living on a student budget during this event. And then we also talk about living in Sweden from the point of what's called intercultural competence as well. And we're going to talk a little bit about study techniques and so on. So hopefully you will find lots of useful information there. Again, there are 2 time slots, either 10 to 12 or 1300 hours to 1500 hours. I know that you may have, especially if you're studying at the School of Business, Economics and Law, you may have a local welcome event at your faculty on that same day. So in that case, you will have to check which of the time slots work best for you. So you can attend both the welcome at your local faculty and the Swedish Study Culture and Living in Sweden event in the main building. On the 27th, we have a welcome fair where you will meet exhibitors, the student unions, student associations, university library, various services at the university, some external exhibitors as well. We have 3 time slots here, so you just choose the time slot that works best for you. And then you will be able to mingle with those exhibitors. And that will be in a third location at Studenternas Hus, where I'm actually broadcasting right now. We also, which is not really part of the welcome program as such, but a side program, let's say, we are going to organize some social activities on the 17th of August, on the 19th, 20th and 21st of August. And this is also something we're going to ask our student ambassadors to take care of. So I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be yet, but they will come up with some fabulous ideas for social activities there that you can join. And we will send out invitations to all of these activities in August. Make sure to keep an eye on your mailbox in August, I think around the 8th, something like that, early August. I also wanted to take this opportunity to show you our welcome pack. So Matthias, if you could stop the sharing for a moment so I can get a full screen there. Thank you so much, and hopefully you see me full screen now. So we have this welcome pack, which is a tote bag. Let's see if I can switch to the top-down camera to show you. Yes, there we are. So this bag we hand out only to you international students, which is kind of cool, because if you see someone with this bag out in the city, you know that it is most likely another international student. So it serves as a very good icebreaker. It was designed by one of our international design students. So all of these are elements from that person's international studies with us in Gothenburg. So we have the university main building, we have Seagull here because there are lots of seagulls in the city. This is Skansen-Kronan, one of the old fortifications from, I think, the end of the 1600s, early 1700s there, which is still around today. It's not a ruin, it's still operational, but not for defense anymore, more for parties and such. So inside of this, you will also find some materials. I don't know exactly what you will find in August, but most likely something from Unimeet, which is a collaboration with the city and the other university here, so they organize activities. I'm not going to go into details now, you can learn more about that later. You will also find a map of Gothenburg. And I know what you're thinking, why would you want a map of Gothenburg in 2026 when you have Google Maps and smartphones? Well, actually what is kind of fun, and what I did when I was in Japan as an exchange student, I put this on my wall, and then I started putting post-its on all the places that I had visited, and I just covered the map more or less in post-its to see all the places I had visited, and also see where there were gaps and where there were then places I hadn't visited yet. So that could be something fun that you can do. The welcome pack, we plan to pack these in June and distribute them to the service center so that when you arrive in August, whenever that happens to be, they should hopefully already be available at the service center, so you can go there and pick it up. Okay, that was a lot of information about that, but I'll hand over back now to Matthias and whoever is talking next.
Yes, that's me, in fact. Yes, how fun. Now I'm wishing that I was an international student heading to Gothenburg this autumn. Lots of exciting things to look forward to. And in the meantime, because we've still got a couple of months to go, if you want to stay up to date with upcoming events, or want to see what our international student ambassadors are up to, or just, what it looks like to be a student in Gothenburg, you can take a look and follow our international student ambassadors on Instagram at student.gu. That's the account handle. And you can also follow our Chinese social media on WeChat, Weibo, or Rednote. And another very cool thing is that probably some of you already know, is that in your first pre-arrival letter, in April, you have received an invitation to join Goin, which is the university's very own social community. You can basically download the Goin app and find out who is going to study at the University of Gothenburg with you later this year. And you can find other students with shared interests and hobbies, or future classmates from your actual study program, and reach out to them, or find fellow students from your home country who are going to travel to Sweden as well, and also join different groups based on hobbies, subjects. Here you can actually see a book club, for example, and we also have a Ask a Student Ambassador channel where you can ask our ambassadors questions. And if you haven't received any invitation to go in yet, let us know, and you'll be able to sign up for our newsletters to stay updated with invitations for international students, and also receive your Goin invite as well. And while this today might be our last pre-arrival webinar, there are still more opportunities to talk to and ask our staff and students questions. For example, next week during our drop-in Zoom session on 13th of May, you can join these sessions and chat with our international students and staff regarding any kinds of questions you have, whether it's just about student life or anything you've heard in our webinars that you are more curious about, or if it's something more of administrative nature, perhaps regarding your admission questions or questions about any tuition fee payments or something like that. The times here displayed are in Central European summertime, and you'll find links to register on our website, on Goin, our social media, as well as in our follow-up email to this webinar, where you will also receive a recording of today's session. Thank you everyone for joining today and submitting your questions and listening to us. We hope that you are excited to start your studies with us later this year, and we hope to see you soon in August here in Gothenburg. And until then, goodbye and take care.